Well, let me give you some personality styles from the New Testament. Because God uses each one of us with our personality to share the gospel. He doesn't want you to be what you're not. He wants to use you as you are. And so we look in the New Testament, and God uses different personality styles to share the gospel. So let's have a look at those styles. Callum, let's have the slide on the screen. There's 6 styles. I'm sure there are more. But God wants to use you as you are to share the gospel. Now, sharing the gospel ultimately has to do with words. So the bottom line is words, the words of Jesus, the death and resurrection of Christ. But God will use us in different ways because we are different kinds of people. And sometimes we'll use a different style in a different situation. So let me quickly show you 6 different styles. Intellectual style, Paul. Pick that up in Acts 17. When you look at the verbs that Luke gives us, writing about Paul, Paul reasoned, he explained, he proved, he proclaimed, he taught, he preached. That is an intellectual style. Someone like Ravi Zacharias is a great example of that, or Lee Strobel, or Lee Martin, right in front of us here. Right? It's someone who reasons with someone who loves doing that. Another style is a testimonial style, the blind man in John chapter 9. Now, you must go and read John chapter 9 because Jesus heals this blind man. He's blind. Jesus does a miracle. He can see. The Pharisees are furious, and they start questioning the blind man. Who is it that healed you? Is he God? Is he the Messiah? Did he sin? And they go to him 2 or 3 times. And in each case, the blind man says, I don't know who he is. I don't know where he comes from. But what I do know is I was blind and now I can see. And then they ask him some more questions. He says, I don't know, but what I know is he was blind and now I can see. Now, there's some of us who are not so good or quick with words. So you think of the answer 24 hours later and it's too late. But you know how it is. You're at Sunday lunch, you're at Sunday braai, in the newspapers there's been some bizarre pastor doing some bizarre thing, and then someone has a go at you and says, you Christians. And then they start asking you some hard questions, or they make some hard statements, and you don't know how to answer them. And let me say to you, that's okay. That's okay. You can be like the blind man. You can say to them, listen, I don't know what the answer is. There are answers, I just don't know what they are. But I can tell you, I was blind and now I can see. That's how I was, and now the Lord has given me peace and freedom and joy. I can't answer all your questions. Come and talk to Royden. Come and talk to Lee. But once I was blind and now I can see. Third style. Invitational style, the Samaritan woman, John chapter 4. You remember that after the Lord had spoken to her, she said and went back to her village and said, come and see a man who told me all that I ever did. And many believed. So what does she do? She invites people to come and see Jesus. Now, we have lots of people here in the church who do that. We have a special event, a special occasion, and you invite people. You speak to them during the week, you invite them. Now, I know how it works. 9 times out of 10, they say they're coming. No, 8 times out of 10, they say, no, I can't make it this weekend. And then there's some who say, yes, I can. And then at 8 o'clock on a Sunday morning, you get a WhatsApp which says, I'm so sorry, I can't make it. So I understand that, but there are many of you who do that. Perhaps you feel you can't make a clear explanation of the gospel. I'm sure you can. But a wonderful way to do evangelism and make disciples is to invite people, and that's what the Samaritan woman did. Number 4, there's a friendship style or a braai style. So Matthew, Jesus calls him to follow him, and Matthew immediately has a party. He has a braai. He invites all his friends. It's through his friendship that he draws people to Christ. Number 5, a confrontational style. Peter, Acts chapter 2. He's in your face. Some of you remember Rory Bell. Rory, if you're listening in UK, we love you. but Rory was in your face. Okay? Give him 10 seconds and he's at your throat. And that's Rory. He's great. And God uses him. But most of us aren't like that. But some of us are. And that's the style God wants you to use. Or a serving style. Last one. Tabitha and Dorcas. Tabitha, also called Dorcas. You know what she did? She served people. She loved people. So she was the one, or this is the kind of person, when they're new neighbors next door, you're the one who goes and takes a cake to them. You're the one at the office who stays behind to help the new apprentice get into some or other problem, help them, because they're battling. You're the person who says, well, I know you're under pressure right now. Why don't you let the kids sleep over? We'll just take them in. I'll go pick up the kids. Don't you worry about it. You're not feeling well. So it's through our service, through our love, that slowly people come to know we're Christians. And through that we share the gospel. So when you look at the New Testament, when you look at that, 6 different styles, we're all different personalities, and sometimes one style is more appropriate at a certain situation than another. But we don't all have to be upfront. No, God will use us as we are. But just remember, the bottom line is words. So we need to build bridges, but we also need to cross them.